So make sure to hit that like button on the way in and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're going to do things a little bit differently here today than we normally do it on the channel. Chief the Yorkie, I expect nothing less from you. First comment of the day here on Wednesday. Thanks for tapping back in. Always appreciate you tapping in and interacting with me. I'm going to have some questions for you throughout, so stay tuned. Let's get right into this. So I just kind of want to take a bit of a different angle and approach on today's stream. Not really look at data and breaking news, etc. But I want to talk about where the market is headed. Okay. Everyone wants to see this bull run, this altcoin season, this Giga Chad bull cycle. If we do get this, which I do believe we will, I think 2026 will be a very positive year. This is what I expect to do well, and the narratives I expect to come out on top. So the topic of today's episode, what to expect from this bull run, might not be what you think. So number one, guys, we have to address privacy. Everything that's going on in the privacy sector is big. And we also have things like this going on at the same time. Okay, now this is Apple. Apple launches digital ID in the US, letting users add passports to Apple Wallet and use them at 250 plus TSA airports. Now, this is just the beginning of digital IDs. Okay, we're seeing the same thing in the UK, parts of Europe, etc., China, where these digital IDs, a digital passport, everything is going to be tied to a digital footprint. You won't be able to leave your freaking country or your state, etc., if you have a parking ticket or something. This is the future that we could potentially be being led to. Okay, is complete digital control. Your money, everything tied to one digital footprint. And if you don't follow orders or stay in line, could be bad consequences. So, in my opinion, this could be one reason why we are seeing a resurgence in privacy coins, alongside of many other reasons. We're seeing Zcash right now go absolutely crazy. We've talked about it on the show before. Zcash, Dash, Monero, continuing still to this day to have a lot of attention. And the best price action so far this run. There's some tokens that are doing well, right? At the end of the day, guys, you have to zoom out. You have RWA next. That is another narrative I think will do well. You have products like Ondo Finance or Chainlink or Avalanche. It might not even be coins that you might not even know too much about, but they're positioned very well for RWA. Real world assets. This is something that Larry Fink talks a whole lot about, tokenization. Okay? This is going to be huge in crypto over the next 5 years or so. Now, all of these things we're really touching on right now are not so much what's going to win this cycle. It's that, but it's also what I believe is going to lead into the next 5 or 10 years or so in regards to some of the best investments in the space. Now, I left off this list meme coins, gaming, etc. Gaming, I think, is always going to be hot. Meme coins, I think, are always going to be here. But these are more important aspects that are just, in my opinion, it's where your focus and priority should be. This is legit tech that's building the future, okay? We're talking about AI right now. Okay, so if you go to AI, you're going to see projects like BitTensor, Render, Akash, just to name a few that I think are going to do well here pretty soon. And there's tons more AI projects. There's tons. You have Sam Altman's WorldCoin. You have a lot others as well. And some are good. Some are really good options to choose from. And there might even be really good options that aren't even around yet. So take a look for AI. This AI will be where a lot of my attention is going over the next 5 years or so. I'm literally building a business around this. Okay? AI. Don't sleep on BitTensor. Don't sleep on Akash Network. Don't sleep on Render. Don't sleep on some of these other projects as well. Do your research. Obviously, guys, none of this ever is financial advice. We're just kind of going down the list. I'm giving you my personal perspective on what I think will do well narrative-wise in 2026 in this upcoming bull cycle as we continue to see a turnaround. So, real utility coins. This is the year. Whoops. This sugar. This is the year where I think everything flips in crypto. All right. Traditionally, you had the opportunity for some narratives to go and to make money off of certain narratives because you didn't have a ton of capital involved yet in the space. So it was mainly us, you know, Reddit, X, etc., creating the narratives, right? And people were benefiting off that. You had so much capital in the space now. You have so much capital now. BlackRock's been buying for a couple of years, institutions, etc., nation states globally are buying, right? The space was not always like this. Okay, so the last cycle, you know, 2017, let's say, for example, to 2017 bull run, you could have made money on like your whatever, just pick one in the top 30, throw a grand on it, hold it for a little bit, probably would have done good. I don't know if that's the same anymore. I think top positioned, okay, blue chip altcoins, right? Real utility coins. A lot of these are top positioned blue chips, something like Cardano, Chainlink, you know, Polygon. Why don't we just pull up Coinbase real fast and just take a look? I'll take a look at what we're looking at here. And I'll go down a list and I'll explain to you guys what I think some of the best. Again, none of this is financial advice. We're just having a little bit of fun here on the Coin Zone. A little bit of a different episode, just kind of explaining what I think the narratives will be for this cycle. So if we're staying on top positioned real utility altcoins that I think will get a lot of attention, and this kind of coincides with another narrative I think will do well, which is ETFs. All right, these kind of coincide. All right, so number one, you know, Bitcoin and ETH in a class of their own. I think they're going to do fine. Real utility top blue chip alts, I think that are going to do the most, that are going to do very well because the capital being thrown to them and basically, you know, Wall Street's like, hey, these guys are winning. Okay, let's take a look real quick. XRP, 100%. Okay, if I was a financial advisor right now, I would tell somebody Uniswap doubled in the last few days. Yes, Uniswap has been on a good run. That is very good to see. Very good to see. That could be an indicator of things to come in a positive direction. If I were going to recommend anybody right now as an advisor, which I'm not right now, guys, okay? So again, not financial advice, just talking out my butt. I would tell them to get XRP. XRP is the most interesting cryptocurrency in a lot of ways. And, you know, I flipped back and forth on it in so many ways, but at the end of the day, I think there's so many undeniable things about it. And I just think it's a good investment over the next 5 or 10 years. And let's keep going. Solana, I'm going to have to throw into this mix because Wall Street is deciding that they love it. However, I'm not a fan of Solana. I don't own any Solana. I think it has a lot of issues. And clearly you have competitors now like Sui where finality and other things are just better in my opinion. And it's faster and I believe more secure and slightly more decentralized. ADA, in my opinion, you guys know I'm a big ADA holder. I'm not trying to shill it or sound biased or anything, but I believe along with XRP, ADA is also positioned very well to do good in this next cycle as a top positioned blue chip altcoin. Because at the end of the day, it's still here. You're getting institution and Wall Street interest and retail interest. And at the end of the day, right, like coming full circle, I got into Cardano and crypto in 2021. Coming full circle, it's 4 years later, right? Almost 5 years later now when I first got in. What it said on paper stood out to me. And I thought it could be this better version of ETH and more efficient, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. It is on paper and legitimately it is. It is an incredibly well-built and thought out blockchain that doesn't have outages, issues like Solana has, that doesn't have a crap ton of VC money manipulating it or controlling it, etc., which was distributed fairly. It never had any hacks. It just works, and it was built with intention. And I have seen projects come and go or deal with massive issues because they just thought about, oh, scalability, or they only thought about speed, or they only thought about, you know, raising money from VCs and making the project somewhat centralized and not really thinking about the protocol and the decentralized nature of things. I think Cardano embodies all of these positive things that we think about when we think about decentralization and cryptocurrency, and it's done an incredible job since its inception of just continuing to slowly build everything out. And all of a sudden, it's 5 years later, you know, since it launched, what, 8 years later now at this point, and all of a sudden, you know, you look up and people are just starting to realize, oh, this thing is still here, it still works, it's building out, the ecosystem's growing, it has liquid staking. The TVL would be like second or third behind ETH and Tron if TVL was counted correctly, but since it's liquid staking, since it's the best staking you could get, they don't even qualify it as value locked, since you could literally pull it out at any moment. So if the TVL Cardano's was counted as any other TVL, it would be like top 3. There's a lot of metrics where I just think it's very slept on. Yo, what's up, King? Cardano alts had a nice little run the past 2 days. Today is cooling off. Yeah, I mean, listen, SNEC, Midnight's going to be massive, I think. You're going to have Indigo, IAG, I think, do well. Strike Finance is could be huge, in my opinion. I really like what Giro's doing on their platform. ADA smart contracts are 5 years behind ETH with more robust tech and potential. Yeah, and you know the thing is ETH is, they say, you know, I can't hate on ETH. I just think iterations of ADA, you know, why Charles started ADA, obviously solved problems that ETH still has or tried to solve afterwards. But at the end of the day, ETH has the developers' attention, a lot of the world's attention. They're the biggest chain. They're doing a lot to solve issues, and it's great to see everyone win together. You know, I'm an ADA fan, but that doesn't mean I hate Ethereum or I think it's crap technology or anything like that. You know, all these things should be heavily criticized and looked at, and do a lot of your research behind it. You can't just, because someone said something about Bitcoin, you just go buy some. Even if it's Bitcoin, guys, do your research first. Understand what you're buying. That's the whole thing, is understand whatever you're doing. What do you think about Nunit, NTX, Consensus, and JP Morgan? I'm with you and hold a lot of different ones. Yeah, Nunit, I'm not too familiar with NTX, to be honest. Is that a Cardano native? Interesting to see. But let's just get back to the focus and the flow of this episode real quick. So we're on the real utility coins. I talked about ADA. What else is there? I think Hyperliquid will do very well. Chainlink, I think, is just so slept on. Chainlink is the definition of a high quality, real utility, top blue chip, in my opinion. Can't sleep on Zcash. Huge resurgence. Market cap dropped down a little bit. It was just higher than Chainlink's last week. Hedera, I think, is a great play. Litecoin, I think, will be around. I don't think it's anything groundbreaking, remarkable, or anything like that. I just think it's solid fundamentally because it's basically just a different version of Bitcoin in a way. But if we want to talk about great new techs, Sui, I think, is going to be a great play. Down 39% on the year now. So, which was interesting, it erased a lot of the gains that it had. Avalanche, I think, is so slept on and has a great future. Monero, you know, we talked about what the privacy coins are doing. 158% on the year. It's not anything too crazy compared to Zcash and Dash, really. But again, that sector will be growing still. Polkadot, I think, is going to be a great play. You know, CRO could be big. BitTensor, in my eyes, is huge. I think BitTensor is going to be huge. Absolutely huge for many different reasons. Okay, so those are just some of the plays that we could be looking at, guys, for this cycle. Whether it's real world utility, you know, whether it's AI, etc. But again, tied into the real utility coins, I think, is also going to be ETFs. Okay, that is a straight stream of millions and billions of dollars just deciding where it's going to go with ETFs. It's Wall Street saying these are the winners that we're choosing to throw a ton of capital at. So do you think nothing's going to happen when, ETFs are approved and there's 7 different ETFs approved that are all throwing billions into, let's say, an XRP ETF, or let's say there's 4 that get approved for Solana, or let's say 3 or 4 or 5 get approved for ADA, and then those funds just start buying consistently billions, over the course of months and a year. You think nothing's going to happen to those projects? No shot. Things are going to happen, guys. What's up with CC Canton? Where the hell did it come from? $4 billion market cap. CC Canton, there's a lot of things. Oh, yes. AGX, good. AGX, yeah, that's an AI play. Interesting. I got to look into Nunit, to be honest, but I'll check it out. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are really coming up out of nowhere. This is a very interesting part of the cycle. It's very strange. Again, guys, I've never seen the space kind of act like this before. Things are redefining themselves. I think that's a good way to put it. With this new legislation, with this new administration, I feel like the entire industry is redefining itself, redefining what is important, redefining where the capital is flowing to. It's funny because, we talk about narratives here. That's the point of this episode. Last cycle, I feel like metaverse was such a big, narrative that has completely just died down, in my opinion. I don't think anyone cares about metaverse anymore. And I think it was one of the biggest investment flubs of the past 10 years or so. And, you look at Meta, that's a good example. I think Zuckerberg admitted he lost money on investing into the metaverse, and they literally changed their name to Meta. So I don't know, guys. Not good. But that is really where I'm going with this, guys. The market, crypto, everything is different now. It's different than it's ever been. The entire industry is redefining itself. Retail is defining what we deem important, and that's DeFi, real world usage. And that's why I think you're starting to see a lot of these partnerships with Visa and certain blockchains start to come out. Stable coins, own blockchains, Avalanche, Sui, ADA, etc. You can have your own debit cards that are native to those blockchains, or the partnership with a legit bank or a company. Either way, understand what you're doing, because again, guys, you could be using a platform where the debit card is coming from, like a blockchain, or it's coming from a bank. So it's it's kind of centralized. So at the end of the day, but everything is being redefined right now, this year in 2025, because of legislation, institutions getting in, Wall Street getting in. It's just interesting to see the change in the space and how rapidly it changes and what is being decided as winners and losers. But again, getting back to it, guys, that's all I really wanted to discuss on the show today, is take it in a little bit of a different direction and just discuss on the stream with you guys and kind of look at some things live, what to expect from this bull run, the types of narratives I think that are going to be winning narratives. And this is really what it is here that I have. If there's any coins you guys think, King, Chief the Yorkie, that I haven't touched on that you think is going to do, you think are going to do really well for this cycle, let me know in the comments. All you guys watching on stream with me right now, I appreciate you for tapping in. As always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet here, make sure to do that for me. As you guys know, this is the Coin Zone. I'm Crypto with Paul Palm. That's a good one on ADA. Yeah, Palm, that's another good one. It's a lot of options here, guys. I'm just very excited to see what the space is going to look like in another year from now, in another 3, and then another 5 years from now, since we're finally getting, regulation. I think now a lot of DeFi companies and just a lot of more cryptos in general are, kind of phew, regulations off their back, the SEC's off their back. They're now given the green light to actually do things. And I think you're going to see productivity go up very well in crypto because of this. So you're going to see companies do well. You're going to see coins have success. So just stay the course, guys, and understand what's going on here. Again, I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Always getting phone calls in the middle. Cheat the Yorkie, thank you. And I followed you on X. Let's go. Appreciate the tap in. You think C3 will be the link of ADA? C3. Not sure what C3 you mean by that. I totally agree. I can't wait another 5 years to go by. Yeah, I mean, that's the plan, guys. That is the ultimate strategy that we are always discussing here on the channel. It is long-term buy and hold and zoom out. You know, you can play around a little bit with perps, whatever, prediction gambling, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, you know, the best winning strategy, I believe, my personal opinion, is just to buy and hold long-term. So yeah, make sure to stick around here on the Coin Zone here on Hump Day, Wednesday, November 12th. Yeah, we have brand new videos that are out on our YouTube channel right now at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of share this instead and pop it back over to show you guys what we've been doing as of late. So we have a brand new video out as of 2 hours ago. All right, about privacy coins. Go check that out, guys. Very, very good coin or video, excuse me. You also have our Sui versus Solana video that went out recently as well. So go check that out, guys. I appreciate you for tapping in here on the Coin Zone on Wednesday. Make sure to sub if you haven't. Follow us on X, Instagram, whatever. Go tell your mom, your dad, your dogs, etc. I'm Crypto with Paul. I'll see you guys again shortly. Take care.